Hello everyone, welcome back. I just got this new sweater. It's a Lord of the Rings sweater, obviously, and my microphone is covering it, but that's okay. So, this video idea is by no means my video idea. It's by no means the first of its kind or the last of its kind. Now, the first time that I ever heard about this video was, I think, To the Ramble, which is the most well-known, the infamous frenemies of BookTube, Richard and Austin. And I love their channel. I think you should go check it out if you haven't already. And then the YouTuber that made me really want to create a video of my own, and the one that I'm more so basing it off of, is Go Read Books. I love his channel. If I were to describe his channel, it would be wholesome and calming. And he just seems like an all-round good dude. And his videos, his personality kind of shines through, and he just seems like that guy you want to sit and have a cup of coffee with and, talk about life with, and that it would be like a relaxing sort of time. So go check out his videos, because his videos definitely do give off that vibe of you're just sitting there with your friend and he's talking to you about books. Love it. So please do tell me what your ranking of these first lines would be. Let's just get into this. So the books that I have here, they are all fantasy, but they are not all in the same scope. And the reason why I decided to do it this way is because I thought, I should only do epic high fantasy. But if I was doing it that way, I only had 11 books. And it was an odd number, and I just didn't want that. Literally, that's what it comes down to. But then I started thinking about it more, and I was like, you know what? Young adult books or middle grade books should also be included in this, because just because it's originally for young adults doesn't mean it's not going to be written well, doesn't mean it's not going to hook you into the story. And I just wanted to give it that sort of chance. And then the other one just so happens to be a book from the Silmarillion, so it's not exactly going to be your epic high fantasy. It's going to be a little bit more of a history type book, but I think that a lot of fantasy enjoyers also enjoy history books. So we'll see how it goes, and I'm really, really excited. So let's just go ahead and begin with The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. Now, to let you guys know, I have not read any of these books. Have I read a couple pages of some of these books? Yes. But do I remember them? No. So we'll just go ahead and get into it. The Blade Itself. We're going to go off of the first line. If the first line is a singular word, it does not matter. That's the first line. The stakes are high. Okay. And I did get that from Go Read Books, because he decided to do it that way, whereas To the Ramble definitely gave the book a little bit more of a chance, but I just kind of want to make it a little bit more fun for myself and for you. So, the end. And we are doing prologues for all of these, because that's the first thing you're gonna read. It's the first line. Okay, next. Logan plunged through the trees, bare feet slipping and sliding on the wet earth, the slush, the wet pine needles, breath rasping in his chest, blood thumping in his head. I think that that's a great first line. Who is Logan? What is happening to Logan? Let's find out. So the way I am going to do this is I'm going to do it the same way that Go Read Books did, and he literally physically tier ranked them. So the bottom is going to be garbage. Now I have nothing to base this off of, and it's not going to be garbage. I'm just being dramatic. And then the top is going to be the better of the books that are there, the best of the best, maybe first lines. So the next one is one of the young adult / middle grade books, and that is The Earthsea, which is The Wizard of Earthsea, A Wizard of Earthsea, goodness gracious, which is a part of the Earthsea cycle by Ursula K. Le Guin. My husband loves this book, so I am very excited about this. Chapter 1, there's no prologue, I don't think. The island of Gaunt, a single mountain that lifts its peak a mile above the storm-racked northeast sea, is a land famous for wizards. Okay, that's actually pretty good. Okay, for now, just for now, because they're so different and so good, but I will end up, but for now, they're on the same level for me. I think that this builds a lot of intrigue. It may even build a little bit more intrigue than The Blade itself for me. Now, this one is the one from the Silmarillion, so I don't know where we're gonna go with this one, but this is Beren and Luthien. My husband and I got this as a wedding present from one of our friends, so I'm not going to start with the preface because that is not a part of the story. Okay, so we start with Beren and Luthien here, and then boom, Here it is. Editing Noelle here. We're gonna pretend like I'm not an absolute silly goose. I read the wrong part of this book. So the actual part is A Tale of Tinuville. Two children had Tinwelint then, Darien and Tinuville. And Tinuville was a maiden, and the most beautiful of all the maidens of the hidden elves. And indeed, girl, can you? Indeed, few have been so fair, for her mother was a fay, a daughter of the gods, but Darien was then a boy strong and merry, and above all things he delighted to play upon the pipe of reeds, or other woodland instruments, and he is named now among the three most magic players of the elves, and the others are Tin Fang, Warble, and Ibarre, who plays beside the sea. Yeah, this is really good, and I've gotta say, I thought it stopped earlier than that. It's such a long first sentence, which I feel like is unfair, but this is actually my number 3. So you'll get to that point of the video and see, but this is actually my number 3. So where you see it right now, just completely ignore it. Now I know that this is a bit more of a complicated read because it is the Silmarillion, and it does read a little bit more like a history book. I think it builds a lot of intrigue. I definitely would want to read it from the first line. I'm not going to lie, but that is with the knowledge that I already have of Lord of the Rings and Hobbit and Tolkien. Just knowing that I like his writing and just knowing that I like his world that he's built, I know that this is a lot different, but it will have to go on the bottom. It's still fantasy, guys, so I think it still belongs on this list. I fear I do want to put Earthsea up here, and that's my rating for now. Okay, next one, another young adult book, and I have so much respect for Christopher Paolini for having the confidence and everything to be able to publish a book, write and publish a book at like 15 or 16 years old. That's insane. That is insane. I was not doing all that at 16. I was being a dumb teenager at 16, so. Alright, we're starting with the prologue, Shade of Fear. Wind howled through the night, carrying a scent that would change the world. That is good. Now, I think that what we're seeing here is I like a little bit more of what is this world-changing catastrophe craziness that, is here. But, man, maybe, okay. Reading this. Initial thoughts, I'm like, oh, I want to put this right here. But, just from seeing the writing, obviously, you know, it's not going to be as well written as Joe Abercrombie, because Joe Abercrombie was an adult when he wrote his book. So I think that this is going to have, like, just from that first one, you're like, oh, this prose will probably be a little bit more simple. So I am going to put it like this as our ranking. Next is The Chronicles of Narnia. I am still surprised that I've never read this book. I watched the movies when I was really young, and I know that this is all of the books put together. So we're going to start with chapter 1, The Wrong Door. This is a story about something that happened long ago when your grandfather was a child. Oh, I fear, as a first line, if we're comparing it, there's not much to say about that. Next is The Wheel of Time, which I know, I have not read it yet, and when it comes to fantasy booktube, I might be the only one who hasn't read it yet. But I think that that is exciting for me and exciting for you guys, because we can go through this journey together, or if you guys have already read it, then you can follow my journey of reading The Wheel of Time, which I will do this year. Probably not all of it, but I will at least start it. Forward, not the forward. What am I talking about? That is so funny. Why did I think this started with, like, the Wheel of Time turns, ages come to pass? That's probably because that's the actual beginning, I'm guessing. Oh. Whoa, what the heck? Okay, so there's an earlier with ravens. And then there is the prologue. No one starts with earlier. But I think that would be the first one that you technically read, right? Okay. So I'm just going to do both, I guess. No, I'll just do earlier with ravens. This far below Emmons Field, halfway to the waterwood, trees lined the bank of the wine spring water. The prologue is, the palace still shook occasionally as the earth rumbled in memory, groaned as if it would deny what had happened. I really like that. I think that if we're going to base it off that, Because I think that the earlier might be just a part of another story, and I don't want everybody to yell at me, so I am going to start with the prologue on this one, just because I don't know how this is exactly put together. So I don't know if that was just author's information for you, and then the prologue is actually starting the story, but I feel like that would make more sense. And I think chapter 1, is the wheel of time turns and ages come to pass, leaving memories that become legend, which is awesome too, but I think that the prologue is absolutely awesome. The palace still shook occasionally as the earth rumbled in memory, groaned as if it would deny what had happened. I think that is awesome. I think personally, I might put it here. It's difficult because I feel like, again, it builds a lot of intrigue, and he's already putting in that, like, a personification almost of the palace groaning. Like, I can tell that is going to be written so well. And then with this one, you're getting from like more of a character story, because all the rest of these, except for Beren and Luthien, I would say, have like a world-altering, world-changing sort of vibe. Whereas this one is the only one that's like, okay, one character is falling down or something's happening to him. The end. So, Jade City. I still haven't read this one. I'm looking forward to it, though. Okay. The Twice Lucky. The two would-be jade thieves sweated in the kitchen of the Twice Lucky restaurant. The two would-be jade thieves sweated in the kitchen of the Twice Lucky restaurant. I love a good thievery in a book. I love thieves in books. And I do remember hearing the beginning of this now, because the Twice Lucky is the name of the restaurant, and that's a pretty cool name for a restaurant. But I think I'll have to put it under the Eye of the World there. The Bone Ships by R.J. Barker. Now, I have heard some talk of this book around, but what I did is I went to the bookstore one day and I saw this book and I was like, wow, this cover is gorgeous. I love me some dragons. I love me some nautical things. And I did read like the first chapter or so of this, and I was like, wow, the writing is really, really good. I really like it. I fear that the first line is not, give me your hat. Well. It's no grandfather something or another, whatever from Narnia that I don't even remember now. I know it's crazy to put give me your hat above what's in Narnia, but I feel like it's still building more than the first sentence of this just makes it sound boring. Brandon Sanderson, The Way of Kings, his magnum opus, as he likes to say. I know that a lot of people love the first 1 to 4 books, because it really depends on who it is, on if it's going to be their favorite. Now, this is a gigantic book. I did read some of the beginning of this. I don't remember much. Like, I do remember kind of what happens, but I don't remember much of like the first line or anything like that. We are going to start with the prelude. I think that that's fair. I have definitely seen that Brandon Sanderson is a repetitive type of author when it comes to his prose, and I'm not a prose snob. However, if you're constantly repeating things, I'm going to notice, and I am going to get upset. I did read Elantris by him, and I read 75 pages into Mistborn, which I will try again, but I feel like I do need a bit more convincing from some people to convince me to read Brandon Sanderson. Okay, Prelude to the Stormlight Archive. Kalak rounded a rocky stone ridge and stumbled to a stop before the body of a dying thunderclast. That's pretty cool. I like that. That's a good little entry into it. You're like, who is Kalak, whatever, who's Kalak guy? And what the heck is a thunderclast, and why is it dying? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it a monster? Who knows? So, I do think, though, this is getting scary. I feel like I'm about to throw my books down. I didn't know how this was going to go, but I feel like this is not what I was thinking. Okay, speaking of Mistborn, here we are. There is a Pokemon card in here from, I think my husband was reading it out loud. Like, we were taking turns reading it out loud to each other. And sometimes we like to read books like that when we have long drives. The prologue. Ash fell from the sky. I think a lot of people think that this is like a great line. And I think it's fine, but I don't think it's great. I would say it's probably, I don't know, do I want to be like really biased? It's my video. How is it not biased? I kind of like Give Me Your Hat better. Sorry. So sorry. Give Me Your Hat's kind of lame, actually. Yeah, let me not do that. Okay. I do like Baron and Luthens, though, better. I think they're on a similar note, but Ash Fell from the Sky is giving you a little bit more of a world-altering sort of climate sort of situation, and Give Me Your Hat is just Give Me Your Hat. The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. I'm very, very excited and looking forward to reading this book. I think that the fantasy genre, as well as like, I could have said this for Jade City as well. The fantasy genre needs more diversity than it just being European. Next. Landfall. Queen Taifa, or Taifa, stood at the bow of Targon, her beached warship, and looked out at the massacre on the sands. Beached warship? Queen? Massacre on sands? It's giving war. That's so stupid. Why did I say that? I like it. I like it. I'm going to go with putting it... I think I'm going to put it under The Eye of the World. That's my first kind of thought, so that's where I'm going to put it. Then my final book is The Shadow of What Was Lost by James Islington, or Islington, however you want to pronounce it. I don't know the actual pronunciation, but that's fine. Okay, prologue. Oh, I forgot. I was thinking about the beginning of this one.